But first things first, let's take a look at the DXY. So it looks like USD is finding strength and basically is holding to the low of that range. We did come back for a retest, and that did happen yesterday afternoon. Looks like that push, I think that was coming into the news. Yeah, this cannot open before the news, but the news came in and we did see price bounce that low. So it looks to me that we have got that fake out. Oh, completely missed it there. Looks to me that we have got that fake out and price has now come back for the retest, and now looks like potentially we're seeing the continuation of that. And if that is the case, then there's a good chance we could be pushing to the high of the range, which is floating around 98.6 roughly. Now, price is still respecting to demand zones to the left here. Again, I haven't really been convinced about the buying opportunities, especially with the way the market has been failing at highs. And I kind of still do expect us to bleed. I kind of do expect us to see more downside. I'm looking at the weekly chart. I'm still not convinced with all these wicks we've seen on the weekly time frame, especially taking into consideration the prior support we had. Taking that into account, it's acting as resistance, and the numerous wicks we printed in this zone really does tell a story that price has been struggling at this area. Of course, we could break through, but it's going to take a lot of energy, a lot of strength. I don't know, maybe CPI could provide that, but it's going to take a hell of a move for us to actually break through this zone and see some more upside, which is why I've been bearish, why I'm expecting price to see more downside. But of course, after the behavior we've seen this week, we did get the breakout, but that was quickly put to bed. And now price is back within the range. It does make things very awkward to take any selling opportunities. The next best sell opportunity will occur, back at highs, back at the top of the range. That's really where you want to do your business for a short. This is all bullish territory, especially after the fake out now and price reconfirming that support as support. So yeah, intraday things are looking pretty bullish. If you are looking at opportunities on the lower time frames, especially if you can see some strength this afternoon through the high, this would look like a nice opportunity to go in long and follow that momentum. So going forward with DXY, I would be intraday bullish at least. Of course, that could change with CPI. And to be honest, I'm not really looking at opportunities in regard to USD anyway. I'm kind of just standing off, especially from a swing bias. I'm kind of just standing off and waiting for price to make its move. I may consider shorts at the high there or some buys for Euro, which we'll get into in a second. But the market is still flat, range bound for me. In terms of EURUSD, pretty much the exact opposite. Didn't really see the retest in the same kind of manner as the DXY. Did find some nice wicks to the upside, but it looks like resistance is still holding there for Euro. So again, there's your breakout. There's your fake out as price comes back inside the range. Looks like we've got the retest and potentially could see some downside. Not quite convinced about the shorts, which is why I'm not jumping into anything. We could see very much a push below the range, but I'm not quite convinced. I'm not quite convinced with the move. And of course, we look to our left, price is still just about respecting this area of supply, which is kind of similar to what the DXY is doing. So we are respecting supply. Price did have the fake resistance. There are a lot of signs that do point in a bearish direction for Euro and a bullish direction for dollar, but not to the quality or the standard of what I want to see in terms of finding any opportunities. Again, I do trade fake outs, but I'm just not convinced by this one just yet. And I wouldn't mind picking up some longs down at the lows here. Solid level support. Of course, the overall trend is still bullish, so that is still a big factor at play. Maybe we are going through a reversal, but still early to tell. I think if price was to break through that, then yeah, I would definitely shift bearish and start looking for a push to these lows and probably further. I'm still not quite convinced yet. So yeah, we're back in the range. So this is back in a territory which I don't really want to operate in. So from a personal point of view, if I'm looking at this for my analysis and my trading opportunities, I'd pretty much just move on from Euro. We're trapped within the range. Yes, looks like we've got the retest. So intraday, I think we can see some downside. We'll see what CPI has in store. But again, I don't really see a tradable move here, especially from a swing bias on Euro dollar on the 4-hour chart. I missed pound USD. In terms of pound USD, again for this one, I said I was keeping an eye on some shorting opportunities at the high here. I do like them. If price could maybe spike through the high in a similar manner to how we spiked through the low, I think that could be a very interesting sell opportunity. Position yourself well, stops above the high, could see a nice move down. If of course we do see the breakout, well then the buys are very much on, and we're looking for a push all the way to the swing high here at 1.37863. So no matter the play, there really is a nice opportunity in both directions. Of course, if USD is going to be strong, that should push pound USD lower. We are rejecting resistance. Like I said, I would want to spike through, but you don't always get what you wish for, unfortunately. But yeah, it looks like price is respecting resistance. We are seeing a bit of a downturn. Do I see any opportunities in this area? No, not really an area which I want to get involved in. You could argue that market's kind of spiked through this high, retest it, and now seeing some strength from the bears. I would rather focus my attention right at the high here rather than this area, but still looks like price is holding as resistance, and again could see a bit of a drop there. So pound USD, again for me in terms of opportunities, this is where I want to do my business, whether we're looking at a retest of the highs and a push lower, or we're looking at a breakout and prices moving higher, and then we can speak about a push to the high there. But yeah, the way I see it, pound's still stuck in a range. And as long as we fluctuate, I'm not really looking to do too much apart from call tops, call bottoms, or wait for breakouts. As for dollar CAD, it looks like that supply zone has well and truly been broken through. Price is now trading comfortably above that zone. So it looks like this is now my area of focus for dollar CAD. I said if this area doesn't hold, I will shift my bias to that area up there. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So if price can respect this well, I'm still interested for the shorts for dollar CAD and still looking to see if I can catch a high here. I like how price is seeing really aggressive momentum as we get these rallies. So as you can see, nice rally over there, really aggressive push down, another rally over there, really aggressive push down. Kind of looking to see if we can do that for a third time. And if I can time my entry well, hopefully catch a nice move down. And again, maybe dollar CAD does push these lows, but if we are still seeing new highs, I've got to be careful. You know, price could easily still put another higher low in and still go against me. So that's up to my trade management. But I still do think dollar CAD has room to the downside. As I've said, the areas which price is respecting, very key resistance here. As long as price doesn't break above this area, I still do have that longer term bearish bias that we're going to sell off from here, roll back to lows, and probably a lot further. So I'm still actively looking for shorts. I like where we're trading the higher time frames. Now that supply zone is not holding, the highs up here become my area of focus. So yeah, looking for a bit more upside for dollar CAD, at least to come and test 1.39250 more or less, and then I'll see what type of opportunities I can get at the highs. But like I said, I like how price is moving. I like the structure. I like the momentum we're seeing as we take out highs, really aggressive. So I do think if we do that again, I'll be looking for similar signs, and that again could give us a really nice move down. Aussie dollar also trading at an interesting area, which again I'm keeping an eye on some shorts. We have spiked through the high there. I'm kind of looking for a slightly more exaggerated move before shorting, but I am looking at an idea of taking some lows, taking some shorts off. I don't know why I said lows. Taking some shorts off the highs here. Again, Aussie dollar really corrected market, so I'm not quite convinced with this uptrend. So I don't mind the idea of taking shorts. It is a bit counter trend. It is a bit going against the grain. So there is that component to it, the more aggressive nature. But I like where I'm positioned, and if I can get a stop loss above the high here, I think I'm well positioned for that trade. And of course, if things do go well, expecting at least a push to this area, there is a possibility of a push all the way down there as well. So there is definitely risk reward opportunities. But as I said, I want a bit more of an exaggerated move higher, similar to one we got here. You can see how price took out that double top, slightly more exaggerated move, came back down. Very nice selling opportunity. I'm looking to see if price can kind of repeat that at the high, and then see if I can take a short off that area, 0.66250. So Aussie dollar definitely on the watch list, dollar CAD on the watch list as well. Of course, slightly different ideas because they're both trading USD in the opposite direction. So in this case, we're kind of looking to capitalize on USD strength. Dollar CAD's more so looking to capitalize on USD weakness. One would be right, of course. But again, the entry and how price gets, then how you maneuver will really help justify the trade. If one's not looking good, I'll focus on the other one. And of course, if neither looking good, I won't trade neither. But I like the location there and keeping an eye on some shorts there for Aussie dollar. In terms of New Zealand dollar is still interesting. It's still in an area which we could sell off. We are still struggling at highs here. We did kind of break through the channel, but again, channels are only reference points. They're not the be all or end all of directional market structure. We are still very consistent with these lower highs, 1, 2, 3. This still could be a fourth, even though it's kind of broken out of that channel to a degree. But fake outs do exist, as we saw with the DXY as well. So there could be some shorts here for New Zealand dollar. I would say a more convincing close, maybe breaking through support here, could actually end up being a nice entry. So let's say if momentum picks up, a strong close below that, entries there. Could either have stop losses above the high or above the breakout there, depending how aggressive you want to be. And potentially some targets into these areas or potentially into the lows. If we are going to form a lower high, this would be the place to do it. If, of course, price was to rally and break structure here, then that would put an end to that bearish structure completely. But that is not the case yet, and there could still be another sell-off there for New Zealand dollar. So keeping an eye on that. Not my favorite opportunity. I'd rather short Aussie dollar. It's more of a significant area. And if we are going to sell off, I think this could be a bigger move. It would be nice to spike high. I might attempt shorting earlier if I see some nice momentum, but I really do want price to push on. In terms of gold, yeah, gold's interesting. Gold was seeing some downside. Looks like price is breaking support. Altogether, still looks very corrective to me, so I'm still very much in the bullish mindset. If I drop to the hourly chart, yesterday I talked about two areas for a buy. I talked about this consolidation, as price could potentially come back to retest that, and then we might see price continue. Or we could look at price taking out this low here and then seeing the continuation. And that could be the play still. Of course, price is spiking through. This candle's still live. It still has 37 minutes before it does close. This could pull back and leave a really nice wick. Or, of course, it could continue and close really bearish. So, need to monitor that. But essentially, I'm looking at somewhat of a bull flag opportunity here. So, if we can find support here and push back above this low, I think that could be a very nice entry. If not, then there is this demand zone, which again still can give us a nice entry. I'm not bearish yet for gold at any stage just yet. Momentum is still with the buyers. Yes, we're seeing some strength to the downside, but it's still relatively corrective. And again, you're not going to see gold just fly to the upside continuously. There will be pullbacks, there will be dips, and this is what I'm looking at as the next dip. Until I see some really aggressive momentum, maybe smashing through this area like that, that might be something to be a bit skeptical of, but for now, still like the buy. So I'll still concentrate to see what we can do at this low here. I think this is a smart place to position yourself long. Just need to wait for that rejection to come into play. If not, then you do have a very nice demand zone just floating below 3,600. I think that's a smart place for a buy as well. And in terms of silver, yeah, silver's still flat, so the buys aren't looking as good. I would suggest we're just still stuck in a range. So if you're going to look to buy silver, it's very much looking to buy low and sell high. So I would suggest if price can move back to the low of the range, spike through the low, that could be a nice place for a buy, simply just to take it back to resistance. Maybe price breaks out, maybe it doesn't. But we did have a very nasty fail over here, so that does show that we are failing at highs and momentum is starting to stall. Of course, we've got a bit of a consolidation to show for that as well. But in terms of a buy, this is where you'll be well positioned for it. Taking some buys in and around this area here is just asking for a bit of trouble. Not that you won't take a winning position. Of course, you can win anywhere, but I would say that's where the most noise is, and that's where a lot of congestion, and you'll see random wicks which could take you out for unnecessary losing positions. Whereas if you can get a position here, you'll have a safer stop loss, be in a better position, probably a better residual back to resistance as well. And of course, if you do get a breakout, you'll be well positioned to take advantage of that too. So